a lot to get through today. There's no way we're doing this in 60 seconds. I've actually been waiting all day for something to happen because I did a very late video last night. And even then, even though I did a late video last night about the goalkeeper, Aston, it's changed again. Once again at about 10 o'clock. Another one at about 11:30 or something like that. We got linked with a further 2 goalkeepers. We're apparently in for 5 goalkeepers at the moment. There's no point doing a video about it because that'll all be old. It's just crazy. So for what I'll do is I'm going to wait the day and see what happens. Something will happen. Nothing particularly happened apart from loads and loads more transfer rumours. So don't shoot the messenger on the rumours. That's what these are. There's nothing definitive here, but there are lots of them. Yesterday we did the video, yesterday we have 3 videos on this channel. The middle video, I did the bit where I said, I want to believe, which was a reference to the X-Files poster. I want to believe, and that was with Ezekiel Palacios. Really weird one with that, because, I mean, as I mentioned at the time, I don't think we stand a chance of signing this player, but I really like him. A player that were one of the few players that's already known to me before we're linked to him. Ex-West Ham United employee has said that he didn't think there was anything in that. There's no surprise there, and he said if that is something, it would be maybe something the chairman would look to do. I didn't really fully understand that, but it sort of gave the impression that Graham Potter wasn't looking at it. To be fair, if Graham Potter's not looking at him, the chairman certainly isn't. So I just think there's no interest at all. There's just no way. That's just not. You can't think the whole time that David Sullivan's going to go cheap. He's always going to go cheap and use a certain agent, then think actually he's going to go for that expensive player. That's just not going to happen. So I just don't think, and it's a shame. There's no interest at all. The other main protagonist in that video was Raheem Sterling. We're also not interested in. So that's good. That bit's good. I'm pleased about that. And I like the reasoning given. It was X as well who said that the reason we wouldn't be going for him was not looking to get any more wingers because we're expecting Crescencio Somerville to come back from injury soon, which is really good. And I totally agree. I said that in a video yesterday. I think it would block his pathway. It would block Luis Guilherme's pathway. Raheem Sterling, I think he was, as I say, I think his best years have gone. Basically, I don't think his best years are ahead of him. So that was absolutely shame with Palacios. That's okay, Sterling. What can you do? Good news, I guess, on that one. Today we've been linked with a load more players, but what I want to talk about first of all is the budget. So apparently West Ham are budgeting for at least another goalkeeper, which you'd hope so, wouldn't you? Because there's 5 of them. We've got to get one of them anyway. I'm not going to spend any time talking about the goalkeepers because there's a whole video last night about it. So I made myself clear on that. But we're budgeting for a goalkeeper and a midfielder. And I've got to say, I'm pretty certain that we're going to get both of those. And I do think to do this because the sort of rumoured amounts have been 50, 60 million pounds for both of those signings. If that's going to happen, then I think we're going to use that firefighting funds, that overdraft, which we got. We got £140 million overdraft, which we can go into. Reading between the lines, and I don't know this, but this is just what I think. I think the club have anticipated we're going to sell more players than we already have. And I think we will. I think bids will come in for Edson Alvarez. I think we'll sell Andy Irving. I think we'll eventually have to cut our losses on Guido Rodriguez. I think players will go. Maxwell Cornet will go. Maybe you can think of some others there. I just think we expected it to happen earlier in the window, and it hasn't happened, so I think we're probably going to have to dip into that. But that's good news. Look, that's what it's for. I just want us to get those players, so I think they're really, really important. The identity of the goalkeeper, well, look, we covered that last night, and that was before 2 more names got thrown onto the list. So, in terms of the midfielder, in many respects, I think almost all eventualities are open here. And I would include Douglas Luiz on that. And I will speak about him in a second. I'll certainly include Jacob Ramsey. But 2 other players. So ex-West Ham United employee has also said that we are definitely interested in Mateus Fernandes. If you're a regular watcher of the channel, you know this is the guy I would really like us to get. I'd like Ramsey as well, because I don't think people keep saying Ramsey left midfielder. I agree he plays on the left for Aston Villa. I just don't think that's where we'd play him necessarily. I think we'd probably convert him into the sort of midfielder we need. He's got the skill set to do that. I think it'd be very, very small tweak that would allow him to do that. Bilal El Khannouss. Now, this is a really interesting one from ex-West Ham United employee, because he said West Ham are interested and Leicester need to sell, which is really good. That's an interesting one. Leicester need to sell, but we want to keep it separate from any deal with Mads Hermansen, who, of course, is also at Leicester City. We want to get the goalkeeper deal done first, and then we'll look at that. All of the players, they all have their qualities. They're not all the same type of player, of course. I see El Khannouss as a far more attacking. No, because certainly a more attacking player than Douglas Luiz. Certainly, I think Mateus Fernandes can do a bit of both. I think he is an attacking player. He's a flair player, but he's not scared to put his foot in. I think Ramsey is an energetic player. I think he carries the ball well. I think he'd actually make a good box-to-box player. I think El Khannouss is just got more attacking flair than he has defensive ability, obviously. So I think they're slightly different players. On the interesting one about this, actually, let me just say now, I don't think we're selling. I don't think we're signing Josh Brownhill. I just don't think we're signing him at all. And I'm really confident of that. Because I remember the rumour starting. I think I might have done the first video about it on here. Advanced talks with West Ham, and he'd bought a house in Brentwood. That was a long time ago. But apparently, it's since been explained, but actually he's buying up quite a lot of property in a lot of places. And I don't think it means anything. I don't think he's signing for West Ham. I just don't think that's what we're doing. I just think we've got too many midfielders. I think the talks broke down. I don't think there's been any further talk since then. There's been no additional information since June. I know he's not got a club yet, so people are looking at it thinking, we're definitely going to sign him. I don't know. I don't know this for certain. But I'd be. I can't bet with everybody, because otherwise I'd be absolutely skint. I'd rake it in, wouldn't I? But I'd be happy to put a couple of quid on Josh Brownhill won't sign for West Ham. I'm pretty happy with that. Or if he did, I'd still think we're getting the main midfielder. I think that's going to happen. It wouldn't surprise me if he did, because for the reasons I've already said. But I just don't think so. I don't think that's the case, because I just think we're overloaded with. He had a good season last season for Burnley. And I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, but I do think we've got a bunch of average midfielders, or a bunch of midfielders that are not really going to do what we want, what we need. I just don't think we're going to do that. I think we will get someone who's exceptional at something. The Douglas Luiz one I did want to speak about, because the report, it's honestly been so many last few days. I think this was from Sky, might have been TalkSport. We're interested, but we can't pay the wages. Right, I had a look. He's on £138,000 a week. And I used the transfer market, I think it was, and did as best as I could. You're never going to know. He's not going to show me his pay slip, is he? But that's the figure you'll get. If you go and do a search on him, that's the figure you'll get. Well, we can afford that. So I did my calculations, right? I had a little. Who's left and who has gone, right? And I mean, who have we released and loan signings, right? And I've been as conservative as I can. So, like people say, Danny Ings, he was 115 grand a week. I don't think he was. But I put him down as 85, right? 85 grand a week. I think Carlos Soler was on 100 grand a week. I put him down for 85. I've actually brought it down just to be conservative, because just so I didn't want to overdo it. I looked at Cresswell and Fabianski, the money saved on Antonio, so on and so forth. Evan Ferguson, basically the players that we've released, it's 500. It's at least, because I've been conservative in my calculations, it's at least £500,000 a week. £500,000. You didn't need me to simplify the calculation. £500,000 a week. Now we've brought in Magic Juff, but he's not going to be on big wages. He's not. I doubt he's even on 50 grand a week. Walker Peters probably is on 50 to 60 grand a week. He probably is, because on free transfer he won't be on loads. And well, if you believe the rhetoric surrounding Callum Wilson, he's paying us. I'm going to keep my eye out for a check in the post, actually. My point is nowhere near that. So why would we not be able to afford Douglas Luiz's wages? We can. I think West Ham have already demonstrated just by this Hermansen thing that they are not above using the media to do their transfer negotiations to try and drive prices down. So it would not surprise me in the least if West Ham put it out there so as Juventus get to hear it, we can't afford Douglas Luiz's wages. I would not be surprised if we're going to try and look to do a cheeky deal. They're going to get desperate. Juventus are getting desperate. I think we know it. So I think we're probably trying to be quite canny and quite coy with our transfer dealings now. But I do think there are players coming in. I really do. There was something. To be fair, I'm up and down. I was going to say like a yo-yo. That's a roller coaster. But Hermansen negotiations going back on. If that happens, that will make me feel a little bit better about what's going on. I think okay, we're sort of playing a system. As I said yesterday, I feel like they're playing us like a fiddle. I don't. Listen. Who knows? Who knows what I would do in that situation if I was buying and selling players? I'd probably just buy and sell them. I don't know, but I do understand the premise of not telling everybody you got loads of money to spend, and I don't think we have. But I do think we're playing the pauper, and I think we got more money than we're pretending we do have. Looking at the wages, looking at the overdraft facility, I do think we'll sell players, and I do believe that actually I would not be at all surprised if we do end up spending, and I'm not including Magic Juve in this. So what was he, 20 million euros? I wouldn't be surprised if on top of that we end up spending another 60 million. That would not surprise me at all. So I believe that. I believe that the club have budgeted for that. I do. Yeah, there you go. I don't know who it will be. And I hope it's any one of those four that I mentioned. I'd love Palacios, I really would, but I do think I would be very surprised if it was someone other. I don't know this stuff, but I'm gonna nail my colours to the mast there with a guess. No Josh Brownhill, but Khannouss, Fernandes, Douglas Luiz. David Luiz, don't want him, do we? Douglas Luiz or Jacob Ramsey. One of those. And I've got to say, if we did one of those, and we got Mads Hermansen, I'll be pretty happy with that.